Scott Eastwood, born Scott Clinton Reeves on March 21, 1986, began life far from Hollywood's bright lights. His father, Clint Eastwood, was already a legendary actor and director, yet Scott's birth came quietly, unannounced, and without acknowledgement from Clint. Raised by his mother, flight attendant Jaseline Reeves, Scott's early years were filled with modest surroundings, far from the fame and fortune his father enjoyed. With a younger sister, Catherine, born from the same secret affair, Scott experienced the isolation of living under a hidden family narrative. While Clint navigated Hollywood's elite circles and amassed enormous wealth, Scott's childhood revolved around ordinary life, emphasizing independence, humility, and resilience, struggling to find his place. As Scott grew, he faced the dual challenge of knowing his father was famous while not being able to rely on him. Moving to Hawaii at age 10 was an attempt to create distance from the Eastwood spotlight, giving Scott a life outside Hollywood's glare. Despite his father's fortune, Scott lived modestly, worked construction, and waited tables, often earning more from bartending than from acting. At Loyola Marymount University, he studied communications, paying his own way and auditioning under the name Scott Reeves to avoid nepotism. Scott's journey in acting was marked by repeated rejection, even from his father's films, including the high-profile American Sniper. These experiences left him frustrated but also shaped his character. Learning to navigate a world where his last name opened no doors forced him to build a work ethic, humility, and determination, essential qualities that would later define his acting and personal life. Family complexity and early challenges. Scott's upbringing was further complicated by the sprawling Eastwood family. With 8 children from 6 relationships, Scott and Catherine grew up without the privileges enjoyed by some half-siblings. The contrast created tension and shaped Scott's perspective on identity and belonging. Moving back to California in 2000, Scott attended Carmel High and faced the challenge of classmates discovering his father's identity, leading to mixed treatment and teasing. His teenage years also brought behavioral struggles, including suspension for fighting and anger management issues. These challenges weren't just about adolescence. They reflected the emotional strain of growing up with an absent father and navigating a world that both idolized and ignored him. These experiences made Scott resilient, self-reliant, and prepared him for the physical and emotional demands of his future career in Hollywood. Early career in Hollywood struggles. Scott's early career was defined by obscurity despite his famous lineage. He took minor roles in films like Flags of Our Fathers under the name Scott Reeves, often going unnoticed. Low-budget projects and straight-to-video releases became his proving ground. While Clint won Academy Awards and critical acclaim, Scott parked cars, built houses, and bartended to survive, often making more than he did as an actor. His father's philosophy was clear: no handouts, no favoritism. But for Scott, this meant years of professional invisibility. These early struggles shaped his persistence and grounded his approach to the entertainment industry. By rejecting special treatment, Scott honed his craft through genuine effort, learning to appreciate small victories and understand the realities of Hollywood without relying on a famous surname. Breakthrough roles and recognition. Scott's career began to shift with roles that challenged him physically and emotionally. In 2009, he appeared in Invictus, directed by Clint, using his real last name, marking a turning point. He later took a risk by signing on for horror films like Texas Chainsaw 3D, stepping into iconic franchises with limited preparation. His major breakthrough came in 2014 with Fury, a World War II film starring Brad Pitt, where Scott's commitment to authenticity, including military training and operating vintage tanks, earned him industry respect. Following Fury, he ventured into romance with The Longest Ride, performing his own bull riding stunts. These choices established Scott as a versatile actor, willing to challenge himself physically and emotionally. The combination of persistence, skill, and risk taking finally allowed him to gain recognition as an actor in his own right, separate from the shadow of his father. Personal tragedy and emotional growth. Behind the professional strides, Scott faced profound personal loss. His girlfriend, Jewel Brangman, died in a tragic car accident caused by a faulty Takeda airbag. The sudden death left him devastated, creating a complex mix of grief, guilt, and emotional paralysis. Scott stayed silent about the tragedy for years, even from Jewel's father, illustrating the depth of his pain. Around this time, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, introduced to him by Paul Walker, became a critical outlet. The sport taught discipline, humility, and how to confront fear and physical challenge. It also offered a therapeutic space for processing grief. Through both loss and physical training, Scott developed resilience and emotional strength. This combination of personal hardship and disciplined practice shaped him into a grounded individual capable of navigating both the pressures of Hollywood and the challenges of real life. Mentorship and influence of Paul Walker. Paul Walker played a pivotal role in Scott's development beyond the screen. Introduced to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu by Walker, Scott learned not just a sport, but a philosophy of humility, discipline, and respect. Walker's posthumous Black Belt award emphasized the values of perseverance and honor, reinforcing lessons Scott carried forward. Walker's influence extended to emotional resilience, particularly after Scott's heartbreak following Jewel's death. The mentorship showed Scott how to confront fear and failure without ego, fostering a sense of self-reliance. This influence became a guiding principle, helping Scott balance the pressures of Hollywood with personal integrity. In many ways, Walker offered both a professional model and emotional support, teaching Scott that strength is measured not just by fame or success, but by the ability to face challenges honestly and grow from them. Breaking into blockbusters and expanding horizons. Scott's Hollywood trajectory accelerated with roles in major franchises like The Fast and the Furious and Pacific Rim Uprising. He played Little Nobody, stepping into a narrative void left by Paul Walker while maintaining his own identity. These roles demanded physicality, wit, and a commitment to character development, solidifying his reputation as a capable lead. In parallel, Scott pursued other opportunities, including projects like Alarm and The Outpost, where he demonstrated range from action hero to emotionally grounded soldier. His choices reflect a deliberate strategy: select roles that challenge him, showcase versatility, and distance him from reliance on his father's legacy. These career moves, combined with physical training and dedication to craft, positioned Scott as a serious actor capable of navigating blockbuster environments and emotionally complex narratives. Legacy, family, and future projects. Scott's journey is as much about personal growth as professional success. His relationship with Clint evolved from distant and strict to one of mutual respect and mentorship, emphasizing independence, responsibility, and perseverance. Scott has absorbed lessons from early hardship, personal loss, and rigorous physical discipline to build a multifaceted life. Looking forward, he is engaged in significant projects like Regretting You, Stolen Girl, Lucky Strike, and Wind River. The next chapter, combining commercial appeal with emotional depth. He also contemplates family life, balancing the instability of Hollywood with the desire for stability and connection. Scott Eastwood's story embodies resilience, self discovery, and the courage to define success on his own terms, creating a legacy built not on inheritance, but on effort, values, and authenticity.